He installed cameras certain the nanny was the problem, but the recordings destroyed him. His daughter cried alone, whispering to her dead mother, begging forgiveness, convinced she had killed her, and he never knew. Marcus Ashford had everything money could buy. A palatial estate in Greenwich, Connecticut, luxury cars that purred like satisfied cats, a portfolio that would make Wall Street brokers weep with envy, and the kind of respect in business circles that opened doors before he even knocked. But inside that perfect house, there was a sound that drove him to the edge of madness every single day. His daughters crying. Lily was 6 years old, and she cried. She cried when she woke up, cried over breakfast, cried while playing alone in her room, cried before bed. Each tear felt like an accusation Marcus didn't know how to answer. It's manipulation, he told himself, while adjusting his Hermes tie in the mirror that Monday morning. Pure attention-seeking behavior. These nannies have completely spoiled her. From upstairs he could already hear it. Lily was crying again. This was the 19th nanny in 2 years, and he was absolutely certain this one would be fired too. Mr. Ashford, the current nanny, Mrs. Patterson, appeared in the hallway with Lily's hand in hers. The child's eyes were swollen and red, her small nose running. "Lily doesn't want breakfast." "I don't," Lily sobbed, wiping her face with the back of her hand. Mrs. Patterson made scrambled eggs, and Mommy used to make them different. Marcus clenched his jaw. Here it came again. "Mommy. Always Mommy. Lily, your mother died 2 years ago," he said with a coldness that made Mrs. Patterson flinch. "You need to move past this. Stop crying about everything." "But I don't like eggs this way," the girl insisted, her voice breaking. "Then don't eat," Marcus replied, grabbing his briefcase. "But stop this scene." He turned to Mrs. Patterson with hard eyes. "We'll talk when I return." He left, the sound of Lily's muffled crying trailing behind him. In the car heading to his office, Marcus called his assistant. "Jennifer, post another nanny ad. Same specifications as before. Mr. Ashford, this is the 19th. I know how many there have been," he exploded, then took a breath. "I apologize. Just post the ad." The truth Marcus wouldn't admit even to himself was devastatingly simple. He couldn't handle Lily's tears because each one was a mirror reflecting his own suffering that he refused to feel. When Victoria died in that horrible accident, Marcus decided the best way to protect Lily was to teach her to be strong. Strong like him. Strong enough not to fall apart. Strong enough not to cry. But Lily had been only 4 years old when she lost her mother. And now, at 6, she was still just a child who didn't understand why Daddy got angry when she missed Mommy. The first nanny after Victoria's death lasted 3 weeks. "You need to let Lily express her feelings," she'd said. Fired. The second lasted a month. "Lily just needs more attention." Fired. The third, fourth, fifth, all reached the same conclusion Marcus refused to accept. The problem wasn't Lily. It was him. They coddle her too much, Marcus justified to himself. They create emotional dependency. Lily needs to learn independence. But the truth was, Marcus was afraid. Afraid to get close to Lily and see her as the daughter who lost her mother. Afraid to feel his own pain by acknowledging hers. Afraid to love completely and lose again. So he chose the easier path. Blame the nannies. That afternoon, when he returned home, he found Mrs. Patterson waiting in the living room with a determined expression. "Mr. Ashford, we need to talk." He didn't even remove his jacket. He already knew what was coming. "Lily is a wonderful child," Mrs. Patterson began, choosing her words carefully. "But she's suffering. She needs professional help, therapy. What she needs is a nanny who doesn't coddle her constantly," Marcus cut in. "You hug her every time she cries. That only makes it worse. She cries because she's in pain, Mr. Ashford. She lost her mother, which is exactly why she needs to learn to be strong. The world won't feel sorry for her." "I know," Marcus exploded again. "I know, but I don't know how. I don't know how to be present in pain without falling apart too." Mrs. Patterson picked up her purse with wounded dignity. "You're raising a girl who's afraid to feel, who thinks crying is wrong. That's not strength, Mr. Ashford. That's cruelty." "You're fired," Marcus said coldly. "You may leave." After Mrs. Patterson left, Marcus climbed to Lily's room. The girl was lying on her bed, hugging a worn teddy bear that had belonged to her mother. Lily. She turned her face, eyes red, but not crying at that moment. Daddy? Mrs. Patterson is gone. Tomorrow a new nanny will come. He expected some reaction, crying perhaps, or anger. But what he saw was worse. Resignation, a tired acceptance in the eyes of a 6-year-old who had already watched 19 women enter and leave her life. Okay, Lily said quietly, squeezing the bear. She was going to leave anyway. Why do you say that? Because they all leave, Daddy. When I cry too much, they leave. It's because you need to stop crying about everything, Lily. I try, Daddy. I swear I try. Then try harder. And he left the room before he could see the destroyed expression on his daughter's face. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He stayed in his office, drinking scotch and looking at Victoria's photo on his desk. The only photo he allowed himself to keep visible. She looks like you, he murmured to the image. Same eyes, same sensitive nature. You cried easily too. But he wouldn't finish that thought. Couldn't. Because if he admitted Lily was sensitive like Victoria, he'd have to admit he was punishing his daughter for having the same qualities he'd loved in his wife. 3 days later, Natalie Brennan rang the doorbell of the Ashford estate at 8 o'clock sharp. She was 29 years old, dark hair pulled into a simple bun, modest but clean clothes, and a determination in her eyes that came from someone who'd faced life's hardness since forever. The butler led her to Marcus's office. Miss Brennan, Marcus didn't look up from his papers. I see here you don't have experience with high-profile families. No, sir. I worked caring for children in daycares and then as a nanny in more modest homes. Why do you want to work here? Natalie took a deep breath. Honesty was all she had. Because I need the job, sir. And because I love taking care of children. Marcus finally looked at her. There was something direct about this woman. No beating around the bush, no false promises. My daughter Lily is 6 years old and cries constantly. She's difficult. Previous nannies coddled her too much, created an unhealthy emotional dependency. Your job will be to correct this. Natalie frowned. Correct how, sir? By not giving in to the crying, not hugging her all the time, teaching her to be strong, independent, resilient. She needs discipline, not coddling. Excuse me for asking. Natalie chose her words carefully. But Lily's mother died 2 years ago. And before you ask, no, Lily doesn't need therapy. She needs to learn to overcome. The world doesn't feel sorry for anyone. Natalie felt her heart squeeze. She already understood everything. The problem wasn't Lily. It was this broken man who didn't know how to deal with his own pain. Mr. Ashford, may I meet Lily before accepting? Accepting? He raised an eyebrow. You haven't been hired yet? Exactly. I want to meet the girl before deciding if I want the job. The audacity surprised Marcus. None of the other nannies had set conditions. Very well. Follow me. They went up to Lily's room. The girl was sitting on her bed, drawing in a notebook. When she saw her father, her entire body stiffened. Lily, this is Natalie. She might be your new nanny. The girl looked up. They were blue eyes like the sky, but carried a sadness too deep for 6 years. Hi, Lily said quietly. Hi, Lily. Natalie knelt to be at the girl's height. What a beautiful drawing. What are you drawing? Lily looked at her father, as if asking permission to answer. Marcus waved impatiently. It's my mother, with flowers. Your mother must have been very beautiful. She was. Lily's eyes began filling with tears. She liked yellow flowers. Lily, Marcus warned with a hard voice, control yourself. But the girl was already crying silently, wiping tears with the back of her hand. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to cry. Then try harder. Natalie felt deep anger rising in her throat. But she kept her voice calm when she said, Mr. Ashford, may I have a moment alone with Lily? What for? To get to know my possible new student. Please. Something in Natalie's tone made Marcus back down. He left grumbling about schedules and rules. When the door closed, Natalie sat on the bed next to Lily. You know it's okay to cry, right? Lily looked at her with enormous eyes. But Daddy said crying is bad, that I need to be strong. Your father is wrong, Natalie said softly but firmly. Crying isn't weakness, it's being human. Do you cry? Sometimes. When I'm sad, when I miss someone, when something hurts me. And people don't get mad? The question broke Natalie's heart. No, sweetheart. People who truly love you understand when you cry. Lily followed her father's gaze. Is Miss Natalie leaving too? Why do you think I'm leaving? They all leave. When I cry too much, they leave. Daddy sends them away because of me. Natalie hugged Lily, feeling the girl tremble. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. It's not your fault. It never was. But I cry a lot. And that's okay. You lost your mother. You have every right to be sad. Lily clung to Natalie like someone clinging to the last board in a shipwreck. I miss her so much. I know, sweetheart. I know. When Marcus returned half an hour later, he found Natalie and Lily drawing together. Lily wasn't crying, but there was a slight smile on her face. So? He asked. Do you accept the job? Natalie looked at Lily, then at Marcus. I accept, but with one condition. Which is? That you trust me. Completely. I'll be paying you. Isn't that enough? No. Natalie stood up. Trust can't be bought, Mr. Ashford. It's built. This woman bothered Marcus deeply, but there was something about her, something that made Lily smile for the first time in weeks. You start tomorrow, 7 in the morning. I'll be here. That night, after Natalie left, Marcus made a decision that would change everything. He called a specialized technician. I need security cameras installed, in every room where my daughter will be. Security cameras, sir? Yes, discreet ones, so she won't notice. And the new nanny? Especially so she won't notice. Because Marcus Ashford was absolutely certain of one thing. This nanny, like all the others, was doing something wrong with Lily, and he was going to prove it. He would catch every mistake, every moment of weakness, every time she coddled his daughter. And then he'd have definitive proof that the problem was never him. It was the nannies. It always was the nannies. But what Marcus didn't know was that the cameras would reveal a completely different truth. A truth about himself that would destroy all his certainties. A truth that was about to change 3 lives forever. Because sometimes, when we watch others expecting to find their flaws, we end up discovering our own. And that discovery can be the most painful thing in the world, or the most liberating. The cameras were installed during the early hours of Tuesday morning. Discreet, nearly invisible, strategically positioned in the living room, Lily's bedroom, the kitchen, the garden. Marcus had invested a fortune in state-of-the-art equipment, everything connected directly to the computer in his private office. Now I'll see everything, he murmured to himself, while testing the angles the following morning. Every mistake, every moment of negligence, I'll have proof. When Natalie arrived at 8 o'clock, Marcus greeted her with a cold smile that didn't reach his eyes. Good morning, Miss Brennan. Lily is still sleeping. I'm leaving for the office and returning at 7 tonight. My cell phone is available for emergencies. Only emergencies. Yes, Mr. Ashford? And remember, no coddling. Lily needs routine, discipline, and clear boundaries. Understood? Marcus left, but didn't go straight to work. He parked 2 blocks away, grabbed his laptop, and connected to the camera system through his phone. Now he could watch everything in real time. Let's see how long you last, he whispered, adjusting the screen. At the mansion, Natalie quietly climbed to Lily's room. The girl still slept, curled like a snail, hugging the worn teddy bear. She had circles under her eyes too dark for a 6-year-old child. Natalie sat on the edge of the bed and gently touched Lily's shoulder. Good morning, princess. Time to wake up. Lily opened her eyes slowly. For 1 second there was hope in that blue gaze. But then reality returned. The new lady. You're the new lady. I'm Natalie. Remember me? We drew together yesterday? I remember. Lily sat up in bed, rubbing her eyes. Are you staying? I'm staying. The other said that too. Natalie felt her heart squeeze. I know, sweetheart, but I'm not leaving. I promise. Lily looked at her with that tired distrust of someone who'd been disappointed 19 times. Okay. In the car, Marcus watched everything with a hawk's attention, making promises she won't keep, just like all the others. Natalie took Lily to breakfast. The table was set with care. Orange juice, bread, fruit, jam. What color juice do you want, Lily? Orange or grape? Orange, Lily answered quietly. Natalie poured the juice into Lily's favorite cup, the one with butterfly designs that the girl had pointed to in the cabinet. But when she went to place the cup on the table, Lily made a sudden movement with her hand to grab the bread. The cup tipped over. Juice spread across the table, dripping onto the floor, staining the white tablecloth. and Lily began crying immediately. It wasn't ordinary crying. It was pure panic. "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," she screamed, her hands shaking. "I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I'm sorry." Marcus leaned closer to the laptop screen. There it is. Excessive drama over a spilled cup. Let's see how she handles this. Natalie knelt beside Lily, holding her trembling little hands. "Lily, look at me. Look at me. You're leaving. You're going to tell Daddy. He'll get angry. Nobody's leaving. It was an accident. Accidents happen." "But I made a mess," Lily sobbed, her small body shaking. "I always ruin everything." "You didn't ruin anything," Natalie said firmly but without harshness. "We'll clean it together, okay? Will you help me?" Lily sniffled, wiping tears with the back of her hand. You won't tell Daddy." "I'll tell him we had breakfast and it was very nice. Because it was, right? But the juice. We already cleaned the juice. Look, it's already dry. Nobody needs to be sad about spilled juice." Lily looked at the tablecloth that Natalie had quickly cleaned. She was still sniffling, but the panic was subsiding. The other lady got very angry when I spilled milk." "Which lady?" "The one before Mrs. Patterson. She yelled that I did it on purpose, that I wanted attention." Natalie hugged Lily. "You didn't do anything on purpose. And you know what? If you spill juice every single day this week, I'll be here so we can clean it together. Deal?" Lily nodded, nestling into the embrace. In the car, Marcus turned off the video and stared at nothing. Something inside him moved uncomfortably. Lily hadn't thrown a tantrum. She'd panicked. She'd apologized as if she'd committed a crime. "She's trained to react that way," he rationalized. "The previous nanny scared her. It's not my fault." But the voice in his head asked, "Are you sure?" He shook his head and went back to watching. The morning continued. Natalie put on soft music and began organizing the toys in the room with Lily. The girl was too careful, almost obsessive about leaving everything perfectly aligned. "Lily, the toys can be anyway. You don't need to make everything so perfect. Daddy likes it when things are organized. But it's your room. You're the one who has to like it." Lily stopped, holding a doll, processing that information as if it were a revelation. "I can leave it the way I want?" "Of course, it's your space." For the first time, Lily truly smiled. A small smile, timid but genuine. Then can I make a little house with the teddy bears under the bed?" "You can make a whole castle if you want." Lily began building her little house, and for the first time in a long while, she seemed like a normal child playing, until she picked up 2 dolls and started making voices. Natalie was putting away clothes in the closet when she heard, "You're a bad girl." Lily's high voice made the bigger doll say to the smaller one, "That's why bad things happen. I'm sorry. I'll be good. I promise." The smaller doll responded, and Lily made the little doll cry. "If you cry, nobody will like you." Natalie turned slowly, watching. Lily was completely focused on the game, reproducing something deep. "Your mommy left because you cried too much." That sentence made Natalie feel as if someone had plunged a knife into her chest. "Lily," she approached gently, "can I play with you?" Lily startled, dropping the dolls quickly. I was just... You were making up a very interesting story." "Who are these dolls?" Lily looked at the dolls, then at Natalie. "This one is a girl who's bad, and this one is telling her to stop crying." "Why is the girl bad?" Because she cries a lot, and then people get angry." Natalie sat on the floor at Lily's height. "You know what I think? I think that girl isn't bad. I think she's very sad and needs a hug. But if she cries, someone who truly loves her will hug her and say it's okay." Lily looked at Natalie with those enormous eyes, processing. Her mother left. "Did she?" "She did, in an accident. And then she was alone with Daddy, and Daddy gets angry when she cries." Lily's voice was breaking now, tears beginning to fall again. "You're talking about yourself, aren't you, sweetheart?" Lily nodded, the sobs coming stronger. I cry a lot, and Daddy gets angry, and all the ladies leave, so it's my fault." "It's not your fault." Natalie pulled her into a tight hug. "It was never your fault. Your mother didn't leave because you cried. It was an accident. And your father doesn't know how to show he loves you." "He doesn't love me." "Yes, he does. He's just confused." Then why does he get angry when I cry? Natalie had no answer for that, so she just held Lily while she cried. In the car, Marcus was paralyzed. He turned off the video with trembling hands. Lily thought her mother had died because of her. Lily thought he didn't love her. Lily thought each nanny left because she was bad. And all of it had come from him. No, he shook his head violently. That's not true. It's Natalie putting these ideas in her head. Psychological manipulation. I knew it. But no matter how much he tried to convince himself, Lily's words echoed in his mind. Daddy gets angry when I cry. He started the car and went to the office but couldn't work. He kept looking at the laptop, at the cameras showing Natalie making Lily eat lunch, the two of them laughing about something silly, Lily still with swollen eyes but smiling. It's temporary, Marcus tried to convince himself. She'll disappoint Lily too. They all disappoint. But there was a new voice in his head, insistent and cruel. Or maybe you're the only one who's disappointing. That afternoon, Marcus couldn't resist and went back to watching the recordings. Lily was drawing in the living room, and Natalie beside her, knitting something. Miss Natalie? Yes, sweetheart? Do you think my mommy is watching me from up there? Natalie stopped knitting. I think so. Your mother must be very proud of you. But I cry a lot. She wouldn't like that. Lily, listen to me carefully. Natalie turned completely to the girl. Your mother loved you exactly the way you are, with crying and everything. Real mothers don't stop loving because we cry. But Daddy, your father loves you too. He lost your mother too, you know? Adults sometimes don't know how to deal with sadness. Does he miss Mommy? Very much. But he doesn't know how to cry like you do. Lily thought about this. I could teach him. Natalie smiled with tears in her eyes. You're a very special girl, Lily. Even crying a lot. Especially crying a lot. Because you're brave enough to feel. Marcus turned off the laptop forcefully. He was shaking. Anger, confusion, something he couldn't name. Natalie was deconstructing everything. She was telling Lily that crying was normal. That he, Marcus, was wrong. She's sabotaging my authority, he growled. She's turning Lily against me. But another voice whispered, or she's showing the truth you don't want to see. When Marcus arrived home at 7 that night, he found Lily having dinner with Natalie. The girl was excitedly telling something about a bird she saw in the garden. When she saw her father, all the excitement died. She shrank in her chair. Hi, Daddy, she said quietly. Lily, how was your day? It was good. No tantrums? Lily looked at Natalie, then at her plate. No, sir. Natalie intervened gently. Lily was wonderful company today. We drew, played, sang. I hope you maintained discipline, Marcus said coldly. I maintained respect, Natalie responded, and there was something defiant in that look. Marcus went up to his office and opened the recordings again. He watched the entire day, from beginning to end. He saw every moment Lily cried. He saw every time Natalie consoled her. He saw the girl laughing, playing, being a child. And he saw something more. He saw in Lily's eyes a spark of hope he hadn't seen in 2 years. But instead of joy, Marcus felt fear. Because if Natalie was right about Lily needing love and not discipline, then he was wrong. And if he was wrong about that, he was wrong about everything. He was wrong about how to deal with Victoria's death. He was wrong about how to raise Lily. He was wrong about himself. And admitting that would mean falling apart completely. So he did what he always did. Blamed someone else. This nanny will last a week, he said aloud to the empty room. When Lily gets disappointed again, she'll understand I was right. But deep down, in a part of him he tried to ignore, a voice asked, what if you're wrong? What if it's too late when you realize? Marcus had no answer. So he turned off the computer and went to sleep. But for the first time in 2 years, he had nightmares of Victoria saying, Marcus, what have you done to our daughter? And he woke with a wet pillow. From tears he didn't know he had. Marcus didn't go to work on Wednesday. He called his secretary saying he had external meetings, but the truth was he was locked in his home office, eyes fixed on the camera screens like a possessed man. I need concrete proof, he muttered to himself. I'll document every mistake she makes, every time she coddles too much, every moment she sabotages my authority. But deep down, there was another reason he couldn't stop watching. For the first time in 2 years, he was seeing his daughter. really seeing her, and what he saw was destroying all his certainties. At 8 in the morning, Natalie entered Lily's room with a breakfast tray. The girl still slept, wrapped in the sheets. "Good morning, sleepy princess." Lily opened her eyes slowly. For 1 second her face lit up seeing Natalie. But then came the question that broke her heart. "You're still here?" "Of course I'm still here. I brought breakfast for you." "In bed?" Lily sat up, surprised. "We can eat in bed." "Today we can. It's our special breakfast." Lily took the cup of hot chocolate with both small hands, her eyes shining. "Mommy used to make chocolate in the morning." "Did she?" "She did. When I woke up sad, she'd bring warm chocolate. She said chocolate was a hug from the inside." Natalie smiled. "Your mother was wise." "Miss Natalie." "Yes?" I'm forgetting her face." The sentence came out so quietly, so loaded with guilt, that Natalie felt the air leave her lungs. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "At night, I close my eyes and try to remember. But it's getting hard. Everything's blurry. I remember she was beautiful, that she had long hair, but I can't see clearly. I'm forgetting her." Tears began rolling down Lily's small face. "What if I forget everything? What if after a while I don't remember anything? I don't want to forget my mother." In the office, Marcus was glued to the screen. His hands gripped the chair arms so tightly, his knuckles turned white. Natalie set the tray aside and pulled Lily into a hug. "Lily, listen. You'll never completely forget your mother." "You know why?" "Why?" "Because she's here inside." Natalie touched Lily's chest. "Every time you're kind, you're being like her. Every time you love hot chocolate, you're remembering her. She lives in the small things. But I wanted to see her face." "Do you have photos?" Lily shook her head, eyes down. "Daddy put them all away. He said looking at photos would make us sadder." Marcus felt like someone had punched his stomach. He'd done that. He'd removed all of Victoria's photos from the house, stored them in boxes in the attic. He thought he was protecting Lily from pain, but he was preventing her from keeping her mother alive. "You know what we're going to do?" Natalie said, wiping Lily's tears. "We're going to draw your mother. You'll tell me everything you remember, and we'll make a beautiful drawing. But I don't draw well. It doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be made with love." They got colored pencils and paper. Lily began slowly. She had hair down to here. She showed shoulder height. And it was brown, chocolate-colored. How lovely. And she had blue eyes, like mine. Daddy said my eyes are just like hers. Your father is right. She laughed a lot. She always had a smile this big. Lily opened her arms wide. Natalie drew while Lily described. And gradually, a face took shape on the paper. "Miss Natalie, it looks like her. It looks like her." "Then now you can look whenever you want." Lily hugged the drawing against her chest. "Thank you. Thank you." But then her small face closed. "Daddy will get angry if he sees it." "Why?" "Because he doesn't like talking about Mommy. When I ask, he gets quiet, or leaves the room. Maybe he misses her a lot too. But he doesn't cry. Never. Not even at the funeral." Natalie took Lily's little hands. "Sometimes adults keep sadness inside. But just because we don't see it, doesn't mean it's not there. I cry a lot. Maybe it's because I'm feeling for both of us?" The question, asked with that devastating childhood innocence, made Natalie hold back her own tears. "Could be, sweetheart. Could be." Marcus turned off the camera and got up from his chair like an automaton. He walked to the bathroom and vomited. Then he looked at himself in the mirror. The reflected man had sunken eyes, pale skin, a tormented expression. "I did this," he whispered to his image. "I took away the photos. I didn't let her talk about her mother. But he couldn't finish. Because finishing the sentence meant admitting he'd completely failed as a father. He went back to the office. He needed to keep watching. He needed to find something that proved the problem wasn't him. He needed to. That afternoon, the cameras showed Lily and Natalie in the garden. They were watering flowers together. "Miss Natalie, can I tell you a secret?" "Always." I think Mommy died because of me." Natalie stopped watering immediately. "What?" "The day of the accident, we were going to Grandma's house, and I kept asking to stop at a store. I wanted a toy. I was crying, throwing a tantrum." Lily's voice was breaking, tears already falling. "Mommy was trying to calm me down, looking back. And then the truck came. If I hadn't thrown a tantrum, she would have been looking forward. She wouldn't have crashed. Lily, no. It's true. I heard people talking. I heard Grandma crying, saying, if she hadn't been distracted? So it was my fault. I killed my mother. The girl was sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. Natalie pulled her onto her lap, holding tight. Lily, listen to me. Listen carefully. It was an accident. It wasn't your fault. You were a child. But I was crying. I was making her look back. And children cry. Children ask for things. That's normal. The truck that came in the wrong direction, not you. But, no buts. You didn't kill your mother. It was a terrible accident. And you lost your mother. You're a victim, not guilty, Lily cried inconsolably in Natalie's arms. I didn't want her to die. I just wanted the toy. I didn't know. I know, sweetheart. I know. In the office, Marcus was crying. For the first time since the funeral, he was crying. Silent tears he couldn't stop. Lily had been carrying this guilt for 2 years, and he never noticed. He never stopped to ask what she felt. Never talked about the accident. Just said, your mother went to heaven, and expected Lily to move on. How could a 4-year-old child move on without help? How could she process guilt without anyone to tell her it wasn't her fault? He'd emotionally abandoned his daughter when she needed him most. What have I done? He whispered, his voice breaking. My God, what have I done to my little girl? The cameras kept recording. Lily and Natalie sitting on the garden swing, swaying gently. Miss Natalie? Why don't you leave like the others? Because I care about you. But I cry a lot. I'm difficult. Daddy said so. Natalie stopped the swing. Lily, look at me. You're not difficult. You're a girl who lost her mother and is trying to understand a world that doesn't make sense. You're brave. I don't feel brave. Waking up every day even when you're sad is brave. Keeping trying even when things hurt is brave. You're stronger than you imagine. Lily rested her head on Natalie's shoulder. I wish you were my mother. The sentence came out so quietly that Natalie almost didn't hear it. But she heard and felt her heart break. Sweetheart, it's not because I want to forget my real mother, Lily rushed to explain. It's because you take care of me. You don't get angry when I cry. You hug me, like mothers do. And your father? Lily was quiet for a long moment, then said, with a sadness that didn't fit in that small body, my daddy had love before, but I think it died along with Mommy. Those words were like bullets piercing Marcus. He got up from the chair staggering, went to the window, tried to breathe, but the air wouldn't come in. His chest hurt as if a weight was crushing it. Lily thought he didn't love her anymore, thought his love had died, and maybe she was right, because what kind of love was this that he offered? Cold, distant, full of demands and zero affection. I love my daughter, he said aloud to the empty room. I love her, but the words sounded hollow even to his own ears. Because love isn't just feeling, it's showing, it's being present, it's hugging when the child cries, not scolding. And he'd failed at all of that. He went back to the cameras, but now he wasn't looking for Natalie's mistakes. He was seeing his own failure reflected in Lily's sad eyes. That night, when Lily was already in bed, Marcus heard her through the bedroom camera talking to herself. She was hugging the bear, whispering to it as if it were a confidant. Bear, I think I'm going to have to be stronger. Daddy is right. I cry too much. If I stop crying, maybe he'll like me more. She sniffled, wiping tears with the back of her hand. But it's so hard, Bear. There's a hole here inside. She touched her chest. And when I cry, it feels like the hole gets smaller. But Daddy gets angry. Pause. Tomorrow I'll try again. I'll try not to cry. I'll try to be the girl Daddy wants. I promise. And then Lily did something that completely destroyed Marcus. She took the drawing of her mother that she'd made with Natalie and hid it under the mattress. I'm sorry, Mommy, she whispered. I love you, but I can't let Daddy see. He doesn't like when I remember you. Marcus turned off the camera, sat on the office floor, and for the first time in 2 years, he cried, truly cried, deep sobs that came from a place in his chest that had been closed for so long. He cried for Victoria, for the wife he'd loved and lost. He cried for Lily, for the daughter he was destroying with his own hands. He cried for himself, for the man he'd become. Cold, cruel, blind. Victoria, he sobbed. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix this. And then came the voice in his head, clear as if Victoria were there. Start by stopping watching, and start being present. Marcus looked at the computer with all the cameras, looked at the technology he'd used to spy instead of connect, and he knew what he needed to do. But knowing and having courage were two different things, because admitting he was wrong meant falling apart completely, meant looking at the 2 years he spent destroying his daughter's emotions, meant forgiving himself, and he didn't know if he deserved forgiveness. So he did what he always did, postponed the decision. Tomorrow, he murmured, tomorrow I'll talk to her. But tomorrow never comes for those who fear today. And Marcus was learning that time to fix things was running out. Because every time Lily hid a drawing of her mother, every time she promised not to cry anymore, every time she doubted her father's love, a little piece of her died. And soon, there would be nothing left to save, unless he had the courage to face the truth. The truth that the problem was never the 19 nannies. It was never Lily. It was always him. And that truth was about to explode in a way nobody expected. Marcus didn't sleep that night. He stayed in the office until 5 in the morning, watching and re-watching the camera recordings. Each word from Lily was a stab to his chest. Each tear of hers was a mirror reflecting his own failure as a father. He watched the spilled juice scene 5 more times, the panic in Lily's eyes, the desperate apologies, as if spilling a cup were a capital crime. He watched the doll play until he memorized every word. You're bad. Mommy left because of you. He watched the moment when Lily hid the drawing of her mother under the mattress. I'm sorry, Mommy. Daddy doesn't like when I remember you. And each scene destroyed him a little more. But the more he watched, the more anger grew. Not anger at himself, because that would mean admitting the truth that would ruin his entire carefully constructed world. But anger at Natalie. Anger at this woman who entered his house just 3 days ago and was dismantling brick by brick the entire structure he'd spent 2 years building. She was putting dangerous ideas in Lily's head. She was making the girl question everything. She was sabotaging his authority as a father. She's manipulating my daughter, Marcus murmured to the empty room, pouring his 3rd glass of scotch of the early morning. His hands trembled slightly, making Lily think I'm the villain, turning my own daughter against me. That's what this woman is doing. The voice of reason whispered from deep in his conscience, small but insistent. Or she's just showing the truth you've hidden for 2 years. But Marcus didn't want to hear reason. Reason hurt too much. At 6:30 in the morning, when Natalie arrived, Marcus was waiting for her in the living room. He hadn't gone to sleep, was wearing the same clothes from the previous day, red eyes, tense jaw. Mr. Ashford? Natalie stopped seeing him. Are you all right? We need to talk, now. Something in his tone made Natalie alert. Lily is still sleeping. It's about Lily that we need to talk. He closed the living room door. About what you're doing to her. Doing? I'm taking care of her. You're filling her head with ideas, Marcus exploded, saying it's okay to cry, that she can feel sadness, that I'm wrong. Natalie took a deep breath. Mr. Ashford, with all respect, she can feel sadness. She lost her mother, which is exactly why she needs to learn to be strong. She's 6 years old. And I know that, Marcus shouted, pounding the table. But if she doesn't learn now to control her emotions, she'll grow up weak, vulnerable. She'll grow up human, Natalie shouted back, surprised by her own courage. She'll grow up knowing feelings aren't weakness. You're sabotaging everything I've built. Built? You mean destroyed? The silence that followed was charged with electricity. How dare you? Marcus began, his voice dangerously low. I dare because someone needs to dare. Natalie was trembling but didn't back down. Lily thinks she killed her own mother, thinks you don't love her, hides drawings under the mattress because she's afraid of your reaction. Marcus went pale. How do you know? And then he realized. The cameras. You knew about the cameras. I saw them on the 2nd day. I'm not stupid. And you said nothing? Because I knew that sooner or later you'd have to confront the truth. Natalie took a step forward. The question is, are you ready to see what the cameras really showed? They showed you coddling my daughter. They showed me loving your daughter, which is what she needs and you can't give. The verbal slap made Marcus stagger. I love my daughter. Then why doesn't she feel it? Because you put these ideas in her head. I didn't put anything, Natalie shouted. tears of frustration in her eyes. I just let her talk. Something nobody in this house has done for 2 years. Talk about what? That she misses her mother. That she's afraid of forgetting her. That she feels guilty about the accident. That she thinks if she stops crying, you'll love her again. Each word was a hammer blow. That's not true. No? Then when was the last time you hugged your daughter? When was the last time you said you love her? When was the last time you let her cry without punishing her? Marcus opened his mouth, but no sound came out. Exactly, Natalie said, wiping tears. You're so busy trying to make her not feel pain that you forgot to be with her in the pain. You don't understand. I lost my wife, and she lost her mother. A 4-year-old child who saw her mother die and was left alone with a father who wouldn't let her process the grief. I was protecting her. Protecting from what? From feeling. From living. From suffering like I suffered. The scream came from the depths of Marcus's soul. And in the silence that followed, the truth finally emerged. I didn't want her to feel the pain I felt, Marcus said, his voice breaking. When Victoria died, I thought I would die too. The pain was so great I couldn't breathe. And I looked at Lily crying, screaming for Victoria, and I thought, if I let her feel all of this, she won't survive. But she needs to feel to heal. I know! Marcus exploded again. I know, but I don't know how. I don't know how to be present in pain without falling apart too. Then you chose to close yourself off, and close her off with you. Yes, the admission came out like a sigh of defeat, because it was easier, because I thought if I kept everything under control, if I made her be strong, we'd both survive. But you're not living, Mr. Ashford. You're just surviving. And barely. Marcus collapsed onto the sofa, head in his hands. I don't know how to fix this. I destroyed my daughter. You didn't destroy her. There's still time. But you need courage. Courage for what? To feel. To cry with her. To admit you don't have all the answers. To be human. At that moment, a small voice came from the doorway. Daddy? Both turned. Lily was standing in the living room entrance in her pajamas, eyes enormous and frightened. It was obvious she'd heard everything. Lily! Marcus stood up. You were fighting. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. And her lower lip was already trembling. You were shouting. Because of me. No, sweetheart, Natalie began. I heard! Lily shouted. And it was the first time she'd raised her voice. I heard everything. Daddy said I cry too much, that he doesn't know how to fix me, that I'm destroyed. Lily, that's not what... Marcus tried to approach, but Lily backed away, tears falling like a waterfall. I tried. I swear I tried to be good. I tried not to cry. But I can't. Mommy is gone. She's really gone. I know, daughter. You don't know, Lily sobbed. You never ask. You just get angry when I'm sad. And I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to make you like me again. That sentence shattered all of Marcus's defenses. He knelt on the floor, at Lily's height. I always liked you. I always loved you. No, you don't, Lily shouted between sobs. You stay away from me. You don't hug me. You send the ladies away when they're nice to me. Because I didn't know how to do differently. I just wanted you to hug me. Just that. I just wanted you to say it's not my fault. Fault for what? Lily stared at him with those blue eyes full of pain too old for a child. The same color as Victoria's eyes. The eyes he avoided looking at, because they hurt too much. For Mommy dying. The world stopped spinning. The air left Marcus's lungs as if someone had punched his stomach. Everything around disappeared. Natalie, the living room, the entire mansion. Only Lily existed, and that devastating confession. What? Marcus whispered, his voice disappearing. What did you say? It was my fault Mommy died. The words came out broken by sobs. I was throwing a tantrum in the car. I wanted a toy. I was crying, screaming. Mommy was looking back to calm me down, trying to make me stop. That's why she didn't see the truck coming. If I'd been quiet, she would have been looking forward. She wouldn't have crashed. I killed my mother. Each word was an explosion in Marcus's chest. He felt like he was falling into an infinite abyss. No. His voice broke completely. No, my daughter, it wasn't. It was! Lily screamed with a pain that tore the soul. I heard Grandma crying on the phone. She was talking to Aunt saying, If she hadn't distracted Victoria, I heard it, and you never told me it wasn't my fault. You just got angry with me after, told me to stop crying. So I knew you thought so too, that it was my fault. Marcus felt the entire world crumbling. His daughter, his little Lily, carrying this monstrous guilt for 2 years, alone, with nobody to tell her it wasn't true. And he, blind with his own pain, never noticed. Marcus pulled Lily into his arms with desperate force. The girl tried to pull away, but he held firm, not letting her escape this time. It wasn't your fault. It never was. You were a child. Children cry in the car. Children throw tantrums. That's normal. Everyone does it. But she died because of a drunk driver who came in the wrong lane. The police confirmed it. It wasn't because of you. Never because of you. Lily cried on her father's chest, her small body shaking completely with sobs. But you got so angry after. You changed. Stopped hugging me. I thought you were mad at me. Because I was lost. Because I didn't know how to continue without her. Every time I looked at you, I saw your mother. And it hurt so much I couldn't bear it. You miss her too. Every day, every hour. Lily pulled back a little to look at her father's wet face. Then why do you never cry? Because I thought if I started, I'd never stop. But I was wrong about everything. About what? Marcus held Lily's wet face between his hands. About thinking being strong was not feeling. About thinking protecting you was not letting you cry. About thinking I could control pain by controlling everything. And what is being really strong? Being really strong is crying when you need to. It's talking when it hurts. It's asking for help when you can't do it alone. He looked at Natalie, who watched everything with tears in her eyes. It's letting good people into our lives. Lily followed her father's gaze. Is Miss Natalie leaving too? Not if I can help it. Marcus looked at Natalie. You saved my daughter, saved me, showed us we were so busy surviving we forgot to live. Natalie approached and knelt beside them. You saved yourselves. I just turned on the light. Lily looked from one to the other. So I can cry when I feel like it? You can, Marcus said, voice choked. And I'll be here. I'll hug you. I'll cry with you if needed. You promise? I promise. He pulled her into another hug, and this time Lily melted into him completely. Daddy? Yes, my daughter? I love you, even when you get angry, even when you're difficult. I love you so much. And there, kneeling on the living room floor, with his daughter in his arms and Natalie beside him, Marcus Ashford finally understood. Love wasn't control. It wasn't discipline. It wasn't strength. Love was vulnerability. It was accepting pain. It was being present even when it hurts. I love you too, Lily, more than anything in this world. They stayed there, the three of them, crying together, letting years of pain finally flow out. And for the first time since Victoria died, that house felt like home. Because homes aren't built from control and discipline. They're built from love, tears, and second chances. And this family was receiving the second chance they so desperately needed. Natalie stood up slowly, giving father and daughter space. She walked to the window, wiping her own tears, and looked at the garden where everything had begun just days ago. Marcus held Lily, rocking her gently like he hadn't done since she was a baby. The girl clung to him, her crying gradually subsiding into hiccups and sniffles. Daddy? Lily's voice was muffled against his chest. Yes, sweetheart? Can I show you something? Of course. Lily pulled away and ran upstairs. Marcus and Natalie exchanged glances. When Lily returned, she was holding the drawing of Victoria that she'd hidden under the mattress. Her hands trembled as she extended it to her father. Miss Natalie helped me draw Mommy, because I was forgetting her face, but I hid it because I thought you'd be angry. Marcus took the drawing with shaking hands. Victoria's face, drawn with a child's simplicity but unmistakable love. The brown hair, the blue eyes, the wide smile. It's beautiful, he whispered. It's perfect. You're not angry. No, my love. I'm grateful. He pulled Lily close again. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for making you hide memories of your mother. She should never have been hidden. She should be everywhere in this house, in our hearts, in our conversations. Lily looked up at him with hope blooming in those blue eyes. We can talk about Mommy? We can. Anytime you want. I want to hear everything you remember about her." For the first time in 2 years, Marcus felt a weight lifting from his chest. The weight of denial, the weight of control, the weight of fear. And in its place, something else was growing. The possibility of healing. Not forgetting, never forgetting, but healing. Together. 3 months later, the Ashford estate was a completely different place. Not in the walls or expensive furniture, but in the energy that flowed through the hallways. Where there had once been sepulchral silence, laughter now echoed. Where fear had once reigned, love now grew. Marcus woke that Saturday morning to something unusual, Lily jumping on his bed. "Daddy! Daddy! Wake up! Today is pancake day!" 3 months ago he would have scolded her. But today, Marcus simply opened his arms and pulled Lily into a tight hug, tickling her until she screamed with laughter. "Help! Miss Natalie, help! Daddy turned into the tickle monster." Natalie appeared in the doorway, smiling. In the past 3 months, she'd stopped being just the nanny. She'd become an essential part of this broken family learning to rebuild itself. "I think the monster needs coffee before attacking anyone," she said with that affectionate way that was now allowed. "Coffee sounds good," Marcus agreed, releasing Lily. "But first, pancakes. I promised, didn't I, daughter?" "You did, with strawberry jam." The three went down to the kitchen. And there, in that space that had once been exclusive territory of staff, Marcus made pancakes for the first time in his life. He got the consistency wrong, burned some, made a monumental mess. And it was the happiest moment of the past 2 years. "Daddy, this one looks like a shoe," Lily laughed. "Are you saying my pancakes aren't good?" "It's a little weird." "Weird but made with love," Natalie intervened. "And food made with love is always the tastiest." While they ate, Lily excitedly told them about a drawing from school, a new little friend, a bird she saw in the garden. And Marcus listened to every word, as if it were the most important thing in the world. After breakfast, while Lily played in the garden, Marcus and Natalie stayed in the kitchen washing dishes together. Another new ritual, another moment of connection. "She's different," Natalie said softly, watching Lily through the window. "Lighter, because I finally stopped putting weight on her shoulders," Marcus responded, drying a plate. "You know, I watched the cameras again this week." "Did you?" "Yes. The recordings from those first days, when I still thought the problem was you." He paused, voice catching. "It was horrible seeing the man I was, seeing how I treated my daughter, seeing the pain in her eyes." Natalie gently touched his arm. "But you changed. That's what matters. I changed because you had the courage to confront me, because you risked your job to shout truths in my face." I couldn't stay quiet watching Lily suffer. Marcus turned to look at her directly. In the past 3 months, something had grown between them. Something that began as respect, became admiration, and was transforming into something deeper. "Natalie, I need to tell you something." "What?" He hesitated, searching for the right words. "I removed all the cameras from the house. Last night, after you both fell asleep." Natalie blinked in surprise. "All of them?" "Every single one. Called the technician and had everything uninstalled." "Why?" "Because I realized that as long as I had those cameras, there would always be a barrier, a piece of me that didn't completely trust, that needed to watch to feel safe." He took her hands. "But I don't want to live like that anymore. I don't want to watch life. I want to live it." Natalie's eyes filled with tears. "Marcus, you have no idea how much this means. I know what it means. It means for the first time in 2 years, I'm truly present. Not through a screen, but here, for real." They stood there, hands intertwined, looking at each other. And there was something unspoken floating in the air between them. But before they could explore that moment, Lily came running in. "Daddy! Miss Natalie! You have to see!" In her arms a baby bird, small, trembling. "Is he hurt?" Lily asked with concern. Marcus knelt beside her. "I don't think so. Just scared. Must have fallen from the nest. Can we help him?" "We can try. Let's make a warm little house." They spent the afternoon caring for the bird. Lily watched over it like a dedicated nurse. That evening, after putting Lily to bed, Marcus and Natalie sat in the garden. The night was starry, the breeze gentle. "Can I ask you a personal question?" Marcus broke the silence. "You can." "Why did you stay? After everything, why didn't you leave?" Natalie thought for a moment. Because I saw something in Lily. A girl desperate for love but thinking she didn't deserve it. And I saw something in you too. What? A man as broken as his daughter. Just as lost. She looked at him. I grew up in foster care. Never knew my parents. Know why I was never adopted? Marcus shook his head. Because I was a crybaby. Too sensitive. People wanted easy children. So I learned to swallow tears. To be strong. Her voice trembled. But inside I was dying. When I saw Lily, I saw myself. A girl being taught that feeling is wrong. And I couldn't let that happen to her. Marcus took Natalie's hand. You saved my daughter. And saved me too. You saved yourselves. No. Marcus interrupted her. Don't diminish what you did. You had courage when I didn't. You loved when I didn't know how. He paused, eyes fixed on her. You brought light to a house that was completely in darkness. Natalie felt tears streaming down. Marcus, I know it's early. I know we're still getting to know each other for real. But I need you to know, he moved closer, that you're not just Lily's nanny. You're family. And I'm falling in love with you. The silence that followed was full of emotion. Me too, Natalie finally whispered. I'm falling in love with you too. They kissed there, under the stars, with the sound of crickets in the background. A kiss of healing, of new beginnings, of second chances. A kiss that sealed not just the love between two wounded adults who learned to heal together, but the birth of a true family. The next morning, Lily woke Marcus excitedly. Daddy, the bird is flying! They ran to the garden. There was the bird in Natalie's palm, flapping its wings strongly. I think he's ready to go home, Natalie said. Will he miss us? Lily asked. Maybe, but he'll be happy flying free. And sometimes, letting someone be free is the greatest proof of love. Lily, Marcus knelt down. Before we release the bird, Daddy needs to talk to you. About what? About Natalie. You like her, right? I like her a lot. What if she wasn't just your nanny anymore? What if she stayed with us forever? As family. Lily looked from one to the other, her little eyes shining. Like she'd be my new mom? Not new, Marcus corrected gently. You'll always have just one mother, but maybe a person who loves you and takes care of you. Who's here? Lily jumped into Natalie's arms. I want that. I want it so much. Natalie hugged Lily, crying and laughing at the same time. I want it too, sweetheart. I want it too. They released the bird together, watched it fly in circles, then head to a tree. Free, healed, alive, like the three of them were learning to be. That afternoon, Marcus went up to the attic for the first time in 2 years. He opened the boxes he'd stored after Victoria's death. Photos, clothes, memories. I think it's time to bring your mother back home, Marcus said to Lily, showing the photos. Lily picked up a photo of Victoria smiling, holding a newborn baby. Herself. Mummy was very beautiful. She was, Marcus agreed, no longer running from the pain. And she loved you very much. Daddy, can I love Miss Natalie and still love my mother? You can. The heart has no limit for love. The more you love, the more it grows. They spent the entire afternoon placing Victoria's photos around the house. In the hallway, in the living room, in Lily's room, bringing her memory back, but now without pain, just with love and gratitude for having existed. That night, when Lily was already asleep, Marcus found the dismantled cameras in the office. The technician had left them there as a reminder of what he'd been. He looked at those pieces of technology that had been his obsession for so long. That represented his fear, his obsessive control, his inability to trust. Natalie entered the office. What are you going to do with them? Throw them away. I don't need them anymore. You don't need to watch anymore? No, because I learned something these 3 months. What? Marcus looked at her with deep tenderness. That the most important things in life can't be captured by cameras. The true moments, the ones of real love, the ones that really matter, they only exist when we're completely present, when we let go of control and simply feel. Can you do that now? Just feel? I'm learning. With you, with Lily. Each day I learn a little more. Natalie approached and hugged him tenderly. I'm proud of you, of everything you've changed. Why? Because you had the courage to change. And that's rare. Most people prefer to continue in error, than admit they were wrong. Marcus kissed her softly. I was very wrong, but you helped me get it right. 4 months later, on a Sunday afternoon, the three were in the garden. Lily was drawing, Marcus reading a book, Natalie knitting, just existing together. Lily looked up from her drawing. "Daddy, can I ask something?" "Always." "Why did you change?" The question caught Marcus by surprise. "What do you mean? Before you were angry, now you're nice. What happened?" Marcus set the book aside and thought carefully about the answer. "You know, daughter, sometimes adults get so afraid of feeling pain that they build walls, and then they get trapped behind those walls, alone. And you were trapped. I was. Very trapped. And who freed you? You and Natalie. You both showed me that living behind walls isn't really living." Lily went back to drawing, satisfied with the answer. But Marcus wasn't finished. "Lily, come here a minute." She approached, and Marcus pulled her onto his lap. "I want to apologize to you." "Why?" "For all the days I didn't let you cry. For all the times I got angry when you were sad. For making you think feeling was wrong." His voice trembled. "And especially for making you think, even for a second, that your mother's death was your fault. But you already apologized, Daddy." "I know, but I need you to know I'll spend the rest of my life making up for it. I'll be here, always. When you laugh, when you cry, when you're scared, when you're brave. Always. I know, Daddy. You're already doing that." Marcus hugged his daughter, feeling his chest full of a love he'd once been afraid to feel. Natalie watched everything with tears in her eyes. And in that moment, seeing that father and daughter reconnecting, she understood something profound. She hadn't entered this family to fill a void. She'd entered to show that the void only existed because they'd stopped seeing each other. When Lily returned to her drawing, Marcus looked at Natalie. "You know what I learned?" "What?" "That I installed cameras throughout the house trying to see what was happening. But the cameras didn't show what I expected." "What did they show?" "They showed I was so busy watching that I forgot to live. So busy trying to control everything that I lost control of what really mattered." He took her hand. "The cameras showed me the truth. But not the truth about you or Lily. The truth about myself." "And what was that truth?" "That I was so afraid of losing again that I'd already lost everything. That I was so scared of loving that I stopped loving. That I was so stuck in the past I had no future." Natalie squeezed his hand. "And now? Now I know that true love doesn't need cameras, doesn't need control, doesn't need surveillance." He smiled. "True love only needs presence, courage to feel, to embrace even when it hurts." Lily looked up from the drawing. "Daddy, I'm done. Can I see?" She showed it, a drawing of 3 people holding hands, a man, a woman, and a girl. In the sky, a woman with wings smiling at them. "It's us," Lily explained. "Me, you, and Miss Natalie, and Mommy up in heaven, happy because we're happy." Marcus felt tears streaming down, but no longer hid them. "It's perfect, my daughter, completely perfect." And it was. On that sunny afternoon, in that garden where silence had once reigned, this imperfect but real family had finally found the way. The way wasn't control. It wasn't discipline. It wasn't cameras watching. The way was love, presence, courage to feel, and above all, understanding that the best things in life can't be watched or controlled. They can only be lived, with an open heart, with tears when necessary, and with the certainty that, in the end, love always conquers fear. Always. Because true strength isn't in never falling. It's in having the courage to get up, admit mistakes, and choose love over fear every single day. Marcus Ashford learned this the hardest way possible. But he learned. And in learning, he didn't just save his daughter. He saved himself. And that makes all the difference.